amazing listeners! It's your host, Pia, and you're tuning in to We Listen and Learn, where we tackle life's challenges together. Today, we're diving deep into something I know many of us struggle with: overthinking. You know those nights when your mind just won't shut off, or those moments when you're stuck in an endless loop of what-ifs? Yeah, I've been there too, and I'm excited to share my journey with you. In this episode, we're going to explore practical strategies to master overthinking in 2025, where our hyper-connected world can make it even harder to quiet those racing thoughts. I'll be sharing some real stories from my own experience, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for the game-changing techniques that have helped me and countless others break free from the overthinking cycle. So, get comfortable, grab your favorite drink, and let's transform those spinning thoughts into powerful actions together. You know, I'll never forget that pivotal moment in my career when overthinking almost cost me an incredible opportunity. It was during a major presentation I had to give to our company's executive board. There I was, standing outside the conference room, my hands shaking as I clutched my laptop, having rewritten my presentation for the 15th time that morning. 15 times. Can you believe it? I had spent 3 weeks preparing for this 20-minute presentation, obsessing over every single detail, every possible question that could be asked, every potential scenario that could go wrong. I'd wake up at 3 a.m. frantically jotting down new ideas or worrying about the font size on slide 23. My friends started joking that I had become a presentation hermit, and honestly, they weren't wrong. But here's where it gets interesting, and a bit embarrassing. As I stood there, paralyzed by anxiety, our CEO walked past and noticed my distress. She stopped and asked if I was okay. In that moment, all my overthinking spilled out like a waterfall. I told her about my countless revisions, my sleepless nights, and my fear of every possible worst-case scenario. You know what she did? She laughed, not unkindly, but with understanding. She shared something I'll never forget. She told me that in her 30 years of business, she'd never once seen a perfect presentation, but she'd seen plenty of authentic ones that changed minds and moved hearts. That conversation was a wake-up call. I realized I'd spent so much time trying to achieve perfection that I'd lost sight of the actual goal: to communicate ideas effectively. The irony, when I finally gave that presentation, it went well, not because it was perfect, but because I finally allowed myself to be present and genuine. Sure, I stumbled over a few words, and yes, I forgot to mention one of my carefully prepared points, but the message got across and the project was approved. This experience taught me something crucial about overthinking. It's not just about the endless loop of thoughts. It's about the paralysis it creates, the joy it steals, and the opportunities it threatens to take away from us. In both my professional and personal life, I started noticing how often I let overthinking hold me back. From dating, from trying new experiences, from speaking up in meetings, even from choosing what to eat for lunch. In our hyper-connected world of 2025, overthinking has evolved into something far more complex than it was even a few years ago. Think about this. We're now processing more information in a single day than our grandparents did in an entire month. Our smartphones ping us with notifications every few minutes. Our smart homes continuously feed us data, and our AI assistants are always ready with another suggestion or reminder. Let's talk about what this actually looks like in our daily lives. You wake up and immediately face dozens of decisions. Which of the 50 unread messages to respond to first? Whether to engage with that slightly controversial social media post, how to interpret your sleep tracker's data, and whether your productivity metrics are matching up to your peers. That's all before you've even had your morning coffee. The rise of predictive AI and personalized technology, while incredibly helpful, has ironically contributed to our overthinking tendencies. When your smart fridge suggests a grocery list, your fitness tracker recommends workout adjustments, and your career development AI proposes skill upgrades, you're suddenly caught in an endless loop of questioning every choice. Is the AI right? Should I trust my instincts instead? What if I make the wrong choice? Social media has also transformed from a simple connection tool into a complex mirror reflecting our deepest insecurities. Every post becomes a potential source of analysis paralysis. Should I share this achievement, or will it seem like bragging? Is my life exciting enough compared to others? The constant exposure to curated highlights of others' lives creates a breeding ground for overthinking. Then there's the phenomenon of digital footprint anxiety. Everything we do online leaves a trace, and we're increasingly aware that our digital actions might have consequences years down the line. This awareness can turn simple actions, like sending a work email or posting a comment, into extensive mental exercises of considering every possible interpretation and ramification. The rapid pace of technological change itself feeds our overthinking habits. We're constantly wondering if we're keeping up, if we're making the right choices about which skills to develop, which platforms to invest time in, which digital tools to adopt. The fear of missing out has evolved from social anxiety to a complex web of technological and professional anxiety. Modern life has also blurred the lines between work and personal time, creating new opportunities for overthinking to creep in. When your home is your office, your phone is your workplace, and your colleagues are always just a message away, how do you stop your mind from constantly cycling through work-related thoughts? The traditional boundaries that once helped us compartmentalize our thinking have largely disappeared. The good news is that understanding these modern triggers of overthinking is the first step toward mastering them. We're not just dealing with the same old thought patterns anymore, we're facing a new breed of overthinking that requires updated strategies and fresh perspectives to overcome. Let me share a powerful technique I discovered during my own struggle with digital overwhelm. Last year, I found myself constantly checking my phone during a family vacation in the mountains. Instead of enjoying the breathtaking views and precious moments with my loved ones, I was consumed by work emails and social media updates. That's when I realized I needed a serious digital mindfulness intervention. The first strategy I developed is what I call the sacred hour. Every morning, before touching any digital device, I spend 1 hour completely disconnected. During this time, I focus on traditional activities like journaling, meditation, or simply enjoying my coffee while watching the sunrise. This practice has dramatically reduced my anxiety levels and set a calmer tone for the entire day. Another effective technique is digital batching. Instead of responding to notifications as they come, I now dedicate specific time blocks for different digital activities. For example, I check emails 3 times a day, social media twice, and messaging apps at predetermined intervals. This approach has freed up mental space I didn't even know was being consumed by constant task switching. Let's talk about a game-changing practice: the mindful notification audit. Take a moment to review every app on your phone. Ask yourself, does this notification truly serve me, or is it serving someone else's agenda? I was shocked to discover that 70% of my notifications were unnecessary and only contributed to my mental clutter. After disabling most of them, I experienced a noticeable decrease in anxiety and overthinking. The 5-to-5-5 rule has also been transformative. Before responding to any digital stimulus that triggers overthinking, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 minutes? 5 months? 5 years? This simple framework helps put digital interactions into perspective and prevents unnecessary rumination over minor online interactions. Creating digital boundaries has been crucial. I've designated certain spaces in my home as tech-free zones, particularly my bedroom and dining area. This physical separation helps create mental separation, making it easier to disconnect and be present in the moment. Remember, not every space needs to be connected to be meaningful. Finally, I've implemented what I call digital sunset rituals. 1 hour before bedtime, all screens go dark. This not only improves sleep quality, but also provides a natural buffer that prevents nighttime overthinking about digital interactions. Instead of scrolling through social media, I use this time for reflection, reading, or connecting with family face-to-face. Now, let's dive into something I'm really excited to share with you: transforming overthinking into actual results. I used to be the queen of analysis paralysis, especially at work. I remember this one project where I spent 3 weeks just planning how to plan, but then I discovered something that changed everything for me: action-oriented thinking. Here's what I mean. Instead of letting thoughts spiral, we can channel that mental energy into concrete steps. I developed what I call the 2-minute decision rule. If you catch yourself overthinking something that would take less than 2 minutes to do, stop thinking and just do it right then. This simple switch has saved me countless hours of unnecessary worry. Let me give you a real-world example. Last month, I was overthinking about reaching out to a potential mentor. I spent days crafting the perfect email in my head. Finally, I applied the 2-minute decision rule, wrote a simple, honest message, and hit send. Not only did they respond positively, but they also appreciated my directness. Another powerful technique is what I call action mapping. When you notice yourself overthinking, grab a piece of paper and draw 3 columns. In the first column, write down your thoughts. In the second, transform each thought into a question. In the third, turn each question into an action step. This visual transformation helps break the overthinking cycle and creates a clear path forward. Let's make this practical. Say you're overthinking a presentation at work. Instead of spiraling about all the things that could go wrong, use action mapping. Thought, what if I mess up? Question, how can I be better prepared? Action, practice the presentation 3 times and ask a colleague for feedback. See how we've turned anxiety into strategy? The key is to remember that overthinkers often have a superpower. We're excellent at spotting potential issues. The trick is to harness this ability constructively. Start seeing your overthinking as raw material for problem solving rather than a problem itself. Every time you catch yourself in an overthinking loop, ask yourself, what's one small action I can take right now? Remember, progress over perfection. You don't need to transform all your overthinking at once. Start with one small action each day and watch how this ripple effect creates positive change in your life. Let's talk about a game-changing approach I've discovered in my journey to master overthinking, emotional intelligence techniques. This has been absolutely transformational for me, and I'm thrilled to share these insights with you. A few months ago, I found myself in an overwhelming situation when my team at work underwent a major restructuring. Instead of letting my thoughts spiral out of control, I applied what I call the pause and scan method. First, I paused to acknowledge my emotions without judgment. Then, I scanned my body to notice where I was holding tension. This simple practice helped me separate valid concerns from anxiety-driven overthinking. Here's a practical exercise you can try right now. When you notice yourself overthinking, place your hand on your heart and take 3 deep breaths. This physical anchor helps activate your parasympathetic nervous system, making it easier to think clearly. I use this technique during challenging meetings, and it's remarkable how it helps maintain perspective. Another powerful tool is emotional labeling. When you're caught in an overthinking loop, try to name the specific emotions you're experiencing. Are you feeling uncertain, scared, or perhaps excited but nervous? Research shows that the simple act of labeling our emotions reduces their intensity and helps us respond more effectively. I've developed what I call the emotion-action bridge. When you catch yourself overthinking, write down your primary emotion, then immediately identify one small action that emotion is trying to prompt you to take. For example, if you're feeling anxious about an upcoming presentation, your emotion might be signaling that you need more preparation. Instead of spiraling into worst-case scenarios, channel that energy into practicing your key points. The beauty of emotional intelligence is that it turns overthinking from your enemy into your ally. By understanding and working with your emotions, rather than fighting against them, you create a powerful partnership between your analytical mind and your emotional wisdom. This has helped me transform from someone who is paralyzed by overthinking into someone who uses it as a tool for growth and success. Remember, emotional intelligence isn't about suppressing overthinking. It's about understanding its message and responding wisely. Start small, be patient with yourself, and watch how this awareness transforms your relationship with your thoughts. Now that we've explored these powerful strategies, let me guide you through a practical implementation plan that will help you integrate these techniques into your daily life. I've broken this down into manageable steps that have worked wonders for me and my clients. Let's start with your morning routine. Set aside just 5 minutes when you wake up for what I call a mental reset. Before checking your phone or diving into emails, take 3 deep breaths and set one clear intention for the day. This simple practice has helped me reduce my morning anxiety by at least 50%. For the first week, focus on implementing just one strategy. I recommend starting with the pause and scan method we discussed earlier. Choose 2 specific trigger points in your day, perhaps your morning commute and your lunch break, to practice this technique. By linking it to existing habits, you're more likely to remember and maintain it. The second week, introduce the digital mindfulness strategy. Set specific times for checking your phone and emails. I personally use the 50-10 rule, 50 minutes of focused work, followed by a 10-minute window for checking messages and social media. This structure has dramatically reduced my tendency to overthink every notification. Week 3 is when you'll add the emotion action bridge to your toolkit. Keep a small notebook or use your phone's notes app to track your overthinking moments. Each evening, spend 2 minutes reviewing these instances and identifying one specific action you can take the next day to address each concern. Remember, consistency trumps perfection. If you miss a day or slip back into old patterns, that's completely normal. The key is to treat this implementation as an experiment rather than a test. When I first started, I would often forget to do my evening review. But instead of giving up, I simply adjusted my reminder time. Create accountability by sharing your journey with someone you trust or joining our podcast community. Having a support system makes a tremendous difference in maintaining these new habits. I still check in with my accountability partner every Friday, and it's become one of the highlights of my week. Finally, track your progress using what I call the victory log. At the end of each week, write down 3 instances where you successfully managed your overthinking using these strategies. This positive reinforcement will help wire these new habits into your daily routine and build your confidence in managing overthinking effectively. As we wrap up today's episode on mastering overthinking, I want you to know that you're not alone in this journey. The strategies we've discussed, from digital mindfulness to action-oriented thinking and emotional intelligence techniques, have been game changers not only in my life, but in the lives of countless others who've implemented them. Remember, overthinking doesn't have to control your life. You have the power to transform those spinning thoughts into purposeful action. Start small, be patient with yourself, and celebrate every victory along the way. Even implementing just one of these strategies can create a significant shift in how you approach your thoughts and decisions. I'd love to continue supporting you on this journey of personal growth and mental well-being. If you found value in today's episode, please take a moment to like and subscribe to We Listen and Learn. Don't forget to click that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes where we'll dive into more strategies for living a more balanced and fulfilling life. Until next time, remember, your thoughts are powerful, but you are even more powerful. Keep listening, keep learning, and most importantly, keep taking action. See you in our next episode.